Welcome to Cyber McBean Podcast. Today, the topic of discussion is Guyana governance, risk, and compliance strategy. Guyana 2025 election overview and how to govern Guyana moving forward. The government of Guyana should recognize the critical importance of robust governance, risk, and compliance strategy for achieving its developmental objectives, GRC, governance, risk, and compliance, emphasizing transparency, accountability, and sustainable development. By implementing effective GRC practices, the government of Guyana will foster public trust, attract investment, and ensure the efficient and ethical management of public resources. This strategy is aligned with international best practice and tailored to the specific needs and context of Guyana. Governance, risk, and compliance is a framework government and organizations use to align information technology with government business objectives, manage risk effectively, and ensure compliance with regulations. The governance structure within Guyana's government is designed to promote clear line of authority and responsibility. The key elements include Parliament, oversee government activities. The executive branch, led by the president. The executive branch is responsible for implementing laws and policies. Judiciary should be independent and responsible for interpreting laws and resolving dispute. Ministries and agency. Each ministry and agency has a defined mandate and is accountable for its performance. Ministry of Agriculture, the Ministry of Economics, the Ministry of Finance, all have defined mandate and is accountable for its performance. This multi-layer structure ensures checks and balances, promoting good governance and preventing abuse of power. The robust legal framework supports this structure, providing the foundation for ethical conduct and accountability. Guyana governance. Guyana is a hybrid Republican parliamentary form of government with a 65 member seats in the National Assembly known as Parliament. Guyana political structure. Guyana political parties. Guyana political parties consist of PPP, People Progressive Party, WIN, We Invest in Neighborhood, APNU, a Partnership for National Unity. In March of 2020, PPP won 33 seats, which is over 50% of the 65 seats in Parliament. APNU and other parties were left with 32 seats. In 2025, the seats distribution of the 65 elected members of the National Assembly is as follows. PPP, 36 seats. WIN, 16 seats. APNU, 12 seats. PPP strategies for 2025. I will first comment by saying there were too many parties participated in the 2025 election. Those numbers of parties played into the hands of PPP election strategy. Election is a number game. It's simple mathematics and statistics. PPP used mathematics and statistics to develop a winning strategy. Let's examine the numbers of Parliament seats. Before the 2025 election, PPP already garnered more than 50% of the 65 member seats in Parliament. PPP's stronghold is unshakable. It is not easily swayed. It is not easy for the other parties to capture votes from the PPP party. PPP voters are loyal to the PPP. WIN, APNU will have an uphill battle making inroads into PPP stronghold. Their best option is to establish a singular party. With WIN entering the race, played into PPP's strategy. The addition of WIN changed the division of the parliament seats. PPP entered the 2025 election having the majority of members' seat. After the 2025 election, it increased its 33 member seats by 3 seats, bringing its total number of seats to 36 seats. Win 16 seats, APNU 12 seats, FGM 1 seat. The opposition parties received 29 seats in parliament, while PPP received 36 seats. In 2025, PPP increased its 33 seats by 3, bringing its total to 36 seats. 55.38% of seats in parliament. PPP behind closed doors was apparently delighted when Win entered the race, which works for the benefit of PPP. Guyana is better served with a two-party instead of multiple parties competing. Having multiple parties benefit the ruling party in power. It's a number game. My hope is that the 3 opposition parties form under one umbrella, one voice, to compete with PPP. This will result in a better balance of power and accountability. A single opposition party will benefit all Guyanese citizens. This unified umbrella will allow opposition party to develop a better election strategy for the next election. Opposition parties, united you stand, divided you will fall. I'm going to talk about accomplishment. In an election, you have to identify and list your accomplishment. PPP accomplishment. PPP campaigned focus on what they have accomplished in the past 5 years and identify what they would do if given the opportunity to serve for the next 5 years. Scholars and economists can debate the effectiveness of PPP's accomplishments. However, during an election campaign, defining accomplishment to voters is a winning strategy. PPP took advantage of this. They define their accomplishment and identify what they will do if given the opportunity to serve for the next 5 years. PPP also took credit for the oil boom in Guyana and blamed the APNU Granger administration for the lopsided agreement between Exxon and Guyana. That went unchecked and unchallenged by the opposition. Another strategy used by the PPP, election investment. PPP invests a substantial amount in advertising dollars on news stations, social media platforms, podcasts, and print to get the message out to voters. Defining a strategy for election and implementing the strategy as defined is a winning strategy for election campaign. APNU and other opposition parties were too late in identifying what the PPP have done or not done in the last 5 years. Campaign against the PPP party should have started the first day of Parliament in 2020 and not a few months before an election in 2025. The internal APNU power struggle and messaging caused voters to lose confidence in APNU. More time should have spent devoted to defining APNU's accomplishment during 2016 through 2020 and expressing to voters the direction APNU would take the country if elected. Let's talk about the way forward for Guyana. The way forward for Guyana. PPP is in a good position and should seize the opportunity and practice good governance, manage risk, and ensure compliance with regulation. It is the roadmap for Guyana's future. It is the way forward to take Guyana to a place where the world looks at Guyana with different lens. In order to build a successful future Guyana, PPP must develop an inclusive and transparent strategy. A strategy that must involve parliament, judicial, and develop a working relationship that will help enhance good governance, manage risk, and ensure compliance with regulations. Guyana, you have the key in your hand. Use it. Don't blame your life on a master plan. Change it. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk about a roadmap for success. Guyana roadmap to a successful and secure Guyana. Security and success. Success and security go hand in hand. In order for Guyana to enjoy success and security, America plays a great role in the way forward for Guyana. Guyana's key trade agreement with the United States is preferential market access under the Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act, CBTPA. United States exports to Guyana was $1.31 billion during 2024. Guyana export to the United States was $3.37 billion during 2024, according to the United Nations database on international trade. I'm going to move on to the next topic, which is Guyana's risk management. There are three essential components: governance, risk, compliance. I'm going to cover risk. Guyana risk management. Guyana government should employ a comprehensive risk management framework to identify, assess, and mitigate potential threats to its operations and objectives. The key aspects include risk identification, identification of potential risks across all government functions. Risk identification is essential to know how to manage your risks. In order to manage your risks, you must identify what those risks are. Risk assessment. After you have identified the risk, you now have to assess the risk. Evaluation of the likelihood and impact of identified risks. That's what risk assessment is. Risk mitigation. Mitigation is developing strategies to reduce the risk that you have identified and assessed. Risk mitigation, development and implementation of strategies to reduce risk. After you have identified, assessed, and mitigate the risk, you now have to be able to monitor and report on those risks. So monitoring and reporting. Continuous monitoring of risk and reporting to relevant stakeholders. The framework should regularly be reviewed and updated to reflect changing circumstances and emerging threats. Emphasis is placed on proactive risk management with the goal of preventing problems before they arise. The government also promotes a culture of risk awareness, encouraging all ministries and agencies to identify and report potential risks. Guyana risk management for United States. In order to be successful, Guyana must develop risk management for the United States. Guyana is able to increase trade with United States and should seize the opportunity immediately. While the United States is currently Guyana's largest trading partner, a failure to deepen this relationship could amplify existing challenges despite Guyana's recent oil boom. Let's look at the economic risk. I'm going to identify three economic risks. 1. Continued dependency on oil. Guyana's rapid growth is driven almost entirely by its oil boom and gas sector. Not increasing trade with the United States could limit opportunities to develop sectors like technology, agriculture, manufacturing, infrastructure, and services. Number 2, Guyana inadequate infrastructure. Significant infrastructure gaps persist in Guyana, including poor roads and an unreliable electrical grid. Deeper trade ties with the United States could attract more American investments and expertise to help close these infrastructure shortfalls, which are crucial for long-term economic stability and development. Guyana resource curse. Let's examine this. The World Bank and others have warned of the risk of the resource curse, where a country experiences rapid growth due to natural resources, but fail to translate it into broad-based, durable prosperity. A refusal to engage in deeper trade with the United States could lead to unchecked spending and less emphasis on long-term economic planning. Another form of major risk is political and geopolitical risk. Venezuela aggression. Guyana is in an ongoing border dispute with Venezuela over the Essequibo region, which is rich in resources. The U.S. has shown support for Guyana in this dispute currently. Strained trade relation with United States could weaken this important strategic alliance, leaving Guyana more vulnerable to military operations from Venezuela. Guyana must invest in its military, drone technology, and other types of technology. This type of investment will send a message to the United States that Guyana is serious about helping to defend its borders and protecting Guyanese citizens. Failure to increase in Guyana trade with U.S., Guyana could miss opportunities to bolster its position as a regional hub. Working together through Caribbean Basin Trade Partnership Act, the United States and Guyana, along with other Caribbean countries, are combating drug trafficking and other transnational crime that threaten regional security. The U.S. Agency for International Development supports programs focused on strengthening communities, improving the health sector and access to finance, youth empowerment, strengthening agriculture value chain, small business development, and climate resilience. The public affairs sectors develops people-to-people ties through exchange programs such as the Youth Leaders of the Americas Initiative, the Youth Ambassadors Program, and the Community Solution Programs. Let's look at an overview of Guyana's GDP. In 2023, Guyana GDP was 19.9 billion US dollars. Guyana's non-oil exports are projected to expand by 21.4%, primarily in commodities such as rice, gold, bauxite. Guyana's overall balance of payment is expected to record a surplus of $120 million in 2024. Let's talk about Guyana's trading partner. The United States is Guyana's largest trading partner. The United States is Guyana's #1 export destination and exports $2.7 billion to the United States. Guyana imported $1.2 billion in goods and services from the United States. Guyana's oil production increased to 645,000 barrels of oil per day in early 2024. Guyana's production is forecast to reach 1.3 million barrels of oil per day in 2027. Guyana is undertaking a critical mapping survey which could help in the development of other minerals including lithium. I'm going to make an appeal to all Guyanese. An appeal to Guyanese. I appeal to all Guyanese to stop for a moment. Analyze your political differences and think of what you can contribute. Ask yourself, how can you play a role in the growth of Guyana? What can you do to enhance the growth of Guyana? Learn from the past to build the present. Use the present to build the future. Technology is the way for a new Guyana. We are living in a technological cyber world. Guyana is in a position to lead the region in this modern digital technological cyberspace. The roadmap to technological achievement for Guyana begins by investing in cybersecurity, artificial intelligence technology, equipment, all universities, colleges, trade schools, and high schools with cybersecurity labs. The goal is to teach cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, computer network to enhance Guyana's government and private sectors and bring them into a modern digital world. Guyana, the future is now. There are challenges in this evolving threat environment, and to secure a better future for all Guyanese is to invest in technology across all regions, government and private sectors. Defending Guyana. You cannot build a country if you cannot defend or at least help to defend your country. Defending Guyana. Global security threats. In today's fast evolving landscape of global security threats, the implementation of a network drone presents an innovative and necessary approach to safeguarding Guyana's sovereignty and ensure the safety of its citizens. Defending the sovereignty of Guyana is essential. In this evolving threats landscape, investment in drone network is vital to the security of Guyana citizens, Guyana people. Artificial intelligence is developing rapidly at rapid speed. Work for the security and prosperity of all Guyanese. One people, one nation, one destiny. Famous quotes from Mahatma Gandhi. Perseverance and continued effort are sufficient achievement, even if we don't win or achieve a perfect outcome. The future depends on what we do in the present. Our greatest ability as human is not to change the world, but to change ourselves. This is the last section I am going to cover. It's the compliance section. Guyana Compliance Initiative. Compliance is to comply. Laws, rules, regulation. How you adhere to laws, rules, and regulation. Guyana Compliance Initiative. The government is committed to adhering to all applicable laws, regulations, and ethical standards. Key compliance initiatives include anti-corruption measures, financial regulation, ensuring compliance with financial regulations, and promoting sound financial management. Environmental protection, adhering to environmental regulations and promoting sustainable development. Data protection, protecting personal data and ensuring compliance with data protection laws. Government should regularly conduct audits and investigations to ensure compliance. Transparency, accountability. Transparency, open government policies, accessible information, and public participation in decision-making process. Accountability, clear line of responsibility, performance monitoring, mechanism for addressing misconduct. These three elements contribute to sustainable development through responsible resource management and social equity. Social equity. Social equity refers to Guyanese people, Guyanese citizen, equal distribution, social equity. I am going to conclusion and recommendation. The Guyana government's GRC, governance risk compliance strategy, is crucial for fostering transparency, accountability, and sustainable development. To further enhance Guyana effectiveness, the following recommendations are made. Strengthening capacity building. What is strengthening capacity building? Strengthening capacity building provides ongoing training and development opportunities for public officials in GRC related areas. Enhance data analytics. Implement data analytics tools to improve risk identification and compliance monitoring. Promote collaboration, fostering collaboration and information sharing. Increase public awareness. Raise public awareness of GRC's principles and encourage citizens' participation. By implementing these recommendations, the government can further strengthen its GRC framework and ensure the effective management of public resources for the benefit of all Guyanese citizens. I close with these quotes. Dream the impossible, seek the unknown, achieve greatness. I thank you for listening to Cyber McBean podcast, and I do appeal to all of you to subscribe to my podcast. Thank you, thank you, thank you.